Okay, so should we go holiday on you here? Merry Christmas, December 20th, 2025. I had a chance to be on Mad Max's show last Wednesday. Had a great interview. JC had a good show, I understand, and here we are on the Teal Shirt Report podcast. I want to talk today about actually NFL winning streaks. This kind of interested me when I did take a look at that. Somebody's got to hand me the winning. Somebody, somebody hand me. Here we go. The NFL winning streaks here on the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We're just about 1 minute in. 1 minute in. We're brought to you by some good folks. Social Realty and Capital, the madmaxmix.weebly.com. Check out Max's new episode. Well, actually, the Teal Shirt Report is episode show number 80. But check out Mad Max's new show right after the holidays. It's the same show, but it'll be a new show with requests and the same show you've come to know and love, the madmaxmix.weebly.com. On Wednesday nights, Max, what I'm saying is Max will have his next show on Wednesday after the holidays. I think he's coming back January the 7th. Mad Max has been playing some great music. Max, I appreciate all the requests, the Steely Dan, the Atlanta Rhythm section. Many great requests that Mad Max plays, not only for me, but for many, many people. Mad Max Mix on Wednesday nights, JC live from the pub on Thursday nights after the holiday, of course. And we appreciate you guys tuning in. Episode show number 80. Thank you for being here. Episode show number 80. This is actually season number 6 of the Teal Shirt Report podcast, getting toward the end of season number 6. It's really been kind of our first season. I guess our 6th season has been on YouTube, but we're still on the audio platforms. We've been on the audio platforms for 6 years. And now about a year ago or so, we added YouTube to our arsenal of things we're doing with the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Let me take a sip of this coffee here. Man, that's pretty good. Thank you guys for tuning in. Got a little holiday layout. I see a reindeer, couple of Christmas ornaments. So we're trying to get a little Christmassy. Merry Christmas to all of you. Hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year coming up as well. Talking about NFL winning streaks. This is what I wanted to talk about. We got a variety of things to talk about, but this kind of interests me. The Jaguars got a game in Denver coming up this Sunday. And it'll be a 4-o'clocker because it's late out in Denver. The Denver Broncos are on an 11-game winning streak. And we've talked ad nauseum about their head coach, who, before he took the Denver job, I said, man, I would love to have Sean Payton here in Jacksonville. That didn't work out. He went to Denver, one of the old school historic franchises. And they're on a winning streak, an 11-game winning streak. That's the longest winning streak in the NFL right now. The Houston Texans. This might surprise some of you, but ever since the Jaguars gave up the ghost in the fourth quarter and got outscored 26-0 by the Texans won that game, and I don't think they've lost since. The Texans have a 6-game winning streak, and their defense is playing really, really well. As you know, the Jacksonville Jaguars on a 5-game winning streak, the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks on a 4-game winning streak. And JC, you'll be happy to know that your Buffalo Bills are on a 3-game winning streak. Chargers on a 3-game winning streak. There's some teams on 2-game winning streaks. I don't think I'm going to mention those because I know the Rams, I think, just got beat, didn't they? In the Thursday night game with Seattle, I believe. That was pretty good football game too. That happened just like a couple of days ago. We're recording this podcast on Saturday, December the 20th. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Did have a Seattle score in the college football playoff. We're going to take a look at that. By the way, Dwight Yoakam, JC, will be in St. Augustine at the St. Augustine Amphitheater. The country rockabilly guy live in concert Tuesday, April the 9th. We're going to have to add that to our concert listings at bigjreport.com in the Neighbors 2 section. I just kind of ran across that today. The Icemen actually got beat by the Atlanta Gladiators up in North Georgia. Lost that one 3-2. The Icemen now 13-13 on the season. College football playoff is interesting where if Alabama keeps winning, and they had a big come-from-behind win. Alabama was losing, I believe it was 17-0 to Oklahoma. Now, this is a team that beat Alabama 23-21 like over a month ago. Now they're back playing again in the playoff. And I messaged, or I kind of saw a post, and I responded to it. That's what I'm trying to say here. To the fact that in college football, it's different now. You got an opportunity to play a team not only once a year, but now as you move into a playoff or postseason, twice in a year. We saw Alabama come from behind, and we've got those scores up on our channel right now on the screen. College football playoff to 12 teams. Now the 12 teams are down to 11. I guess we'll have to edit that now. Alabama came from behind after trailing Oklahoma 17-0. Alabama had a big comeback, tied the game up, and took the lead and never looked back in the second half. And Alabama won the game. Alabama 34, Oklahoma 24. Games later today, Ole Miss versus Tulane. That's right, games coming up today. There's 3 of them today on Saturday, December the 20th. Ole Miss versus Tulane. Ole Miss playing without Lane Kiffin, their head coach. He's gone on to LSU. They got their new coach is not only going to be an interim, but he'll be the permanent new coach, the defensive coordinator. And this has been discussed in past episodes, obviously. Ole Miss will play Tulane tonight. Alabama beat Oklahoma on Friday night, December the 19th. Alabama came from behind with a big victory, 34-24. Was Alabama 34, Oklahoma 24 on Friday night, December the 19th. So the 12 teams are actually now down to 11 teams. And the games today, Ole Miss versus Tulane, James Madison at Oregon, I believe is the late game. And then you got Miami of Florida at Texas A&M. So you got 3 pretty good games today. Now, Alabama won. Now, what if Georgia keeps winning? Now, Georgia's not having to play this weekend. They got a bye. Teams with byes include the Big Ten champion Indiana Hoosiers, the Georgia Bulldogs, the SEC champions, Big 12 champions Texas Tech got a bye, and Ohio State, the runners-up in the Big Ten, but they had a 12-1 record, and they got a first-round bye as well. So what if Alabama, now they've gotten hot, maybe they've gotten some players back healthy in some respects. What if Alabama runs the table, gets to the final game, and maybe the other team is Georgia? How would that make you feel? 3 matchups in a row. I mean, the SEC, the people that run the SEC would love it, right? And the SEC is my favorite conference, a conference I followed since the early 1970s. But these 2 teams played in the regular season. Then they played in the SEC championship game. Georgia won the SEC championship game. They're getting a bye in the tournament or the playoff, if you will. What do you think about that? So I just was looking at a bracket, and I said, man, if Alabama and Georgia win their next game, man, they might be headed on a collision course. But there's some other good teams too. James Madison at Oregon. Oregon should win that one. Miami of Florida versus Texas A&M. I'm going to say Texas A&M will win that game. That would be my pick in that one, but we'll see. That could be a close game. That could really be a battle. Ole Miss versus Tulane on the surface looks like Ole Miss is going to win that thing by I'm going to say 10 points, 2 touchdowns, maybe 14 points, 10 to 14 points in that range, maybe more. John Summerall, the new Florida Gator head coach, is still coaching Tulane now into the playoff, and this could be their only game in the playoff. But it's just it's a manifestation that they've made the playoff, right? It's just unbelievable that Tulane has made the playoff. James Madison, who their coach is, I think his name is Chesney, and he's going to take the UCLA job. And then you got Billy Napier, who's going to take the James Madison job. So Billy Napier's probably at this game tonight. James Madison at Oregon, taking a look at the players he's going to inherit. I'm sure maybe not all of them will be back. College football, man, the portal, the transfer portal, in my mind, is killing college football. I hear the running back in Florida is entering the portal or will enter the portal. Then there were some reports, hey, he may come back to Florida. I think it all comes down to the money. Any updates on Bob, leave them in the comments for me, or I'll be looking it up as well with whatever's happening with that running back who got like 200 yards in Florida's 40-21 victory over Florida State in the Florida Gators' final game of the regular season, which turned out to be their final game of the year. The victory for Florida means FSU doesn't go bowling because they had a losing record and they didn't win 6 games. I think FSU finished 5-7. But we're into the playoff. There's now 11 teams. I'll have to edit that. I got the 12 teams up there, but now it's actually 11 because Alabama has beaten Oklahoma. Alabama 34, Oklahoma 24 on Friday night, December the 19th. Could Alabama and Georgia be on a collision course? But they both got to win a couple of games to get there. Texas Tech and Ohio State may have something to say about that. Indiana, the Big Ten champions. Going to be some pretty good football. I think Alabama, according to the bracket, I was trying to study the bracket. It looks like Alabama will play the Big Ten champs Indiana next, I believe. And if I'm wrong about that, you guys correct me in the comments. So we're going to talk about, not only the college football playoff, but let's talk about the Jaguars, big win over the Jets, 48-20. Trevor Lawrence had, my gosh, about 350 yards passing, accounted for 5 touchdowns. And then I think he ran one in too. So like 5 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. And I think the guy had 40-something points in fantasy football if you had him on your team. Teal Shirt Report, Fantasy Football League Championship game being played this weekend. So we'll be coming back and talking about we got a little bowl called the Apple Bowl, which is for the third place guy. Zach is in the third place game, JC, and he's going up against Harrison, I believe, in the third place game. So you guys can win third place in the Teal Shirt Report podcast league, but the prizes are just for the first place and second place team, as I understand it. But we'll talk fantasy football. I know a lot of you guys are in fantasy football leagues, and you may be into your playoffs. You may be into your playoffs this week or next week. And I kind of like starting them earlier, where you don't have your playoffs and championship game on the last week of the regular season, which can be difficult because players in week 17, or I think they call it week 18, players that are contenders may start resting some of their better players. And that's kind of what happens. Jacksonville Jaguars 48, New York Jets 20, a final back on Sunday, December the 14th of 2025. Jacksonville Jaguars are 10-4, but they'll play in Denver against the Denver Broncos, now 12-2, riding an 11-game winning streak. What is critical with the Jacksonville Jaguars? Probably the biggest thing right now is there's chemistry between Trevor Lawrence and Jacoby Myers, to the extent of the Jacksonville Jaguars have said, hey, we're going to give you the bag of money. I think this guy's getting $40 million guaranteed. The Jags made a trade for him. What was it, about 6 weeks ago or so? The guy might have dropped one pass during every game he's played in. And it shocked me when he dropped that pass. He catches the football. I think he's dropped one pass, and all the time, there was one game, I think the game before, which I believe was a Colts game. He had 6 targets and 6 catches. Doesn't get much better than that. And he's very reminiscent to when the Jags signed Christian Kirk, a guy because they were looking for a guy to catch the football because the other wide receivers have had trouble catching it. There's been a lot of drop passes. Can you imagine any one of these other wide receivers could have stepped up and said, "Hey, I'm catching the football"? And then they may have gotten the big sack of money too. Let me take a look at the contract for Myers. We'll take a look at that right now. This guy's made a difference. Jags traded a couple of draft picks. I think it was a 4th round and a 6th round pick, I believe. Jacoby Myers has signed a 3-year contract extension with the Jacksonville Jaguars worth $60 million, including $40 million guaranteed. You remember a couple of years ago, Calvin Ridley left Jacksonville for a free agent deal. I don't think he's played much. He's been, hurt off and on this year in 2025. And the Tennessee Titans, sad for their fans, not sad for the Jags fans, but the Tennessee Titans, I think they've only won, 2 games this year. They're like, 2-12. Jaguars are 10-4. So the deal with Jacoby Myers, I'm thinking about it, and I said, well, he's a veteran wide receiver. I looked him up. I didn't know much about I have to admit, I didn't know a lot about Jacoby Myers when the Jags first traded for him. The only thing I understood was this is a guy that could catch the football. And the Jags need that because a lot of passes were being dropped. Some of the wide receivers, BTJ perhaps was the guy running across the middle, and he didn't complete the route. Some guys don't like going across the middle. I think this guy will. But he's more of a possession receiver. He will catch a long pass from time to time, but more of a possession receiver. Jaguars extend wide receiver Jacoby Myers. And the cool thing I liked about this guy, I didn't know much about him, but when he was first interviewed, he said, man, he's looking forward to coming to Duval. And then the rumor I heard was there were a couple of teams interested in him, and he really wanted to go to Jacksonville. He really wanted to come here, and I like that part. He wanted to be here. And he has improved Trevor Lawrence's game by being able to catch the football. I think in the Colts game, he got 6 catches on 6 targets. Like I said, doesn't get much better than that. Jacoby Myers has signed a 3-year contract extension with the Jacksonville Jaguars worth $60 million, including $40 million guaranteed. This extension will tie Myers to the Jags football team through the 2028 season, and that's pretty cool. That's when the new stadium will be done, and the Jaguars will start playing in the new stadium of the future in 2028. He's going to be here for that, Jacoby Myers. By the way, the deal was finalized after Myers was traded from the Las Vegas Raiders to the Jacksonville Jaguars at the NFL trade deadline. Since joining the Jaguars, Myers has been a significant contributor to the team's success, leading in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns in 6 games. His addition has been absolutely crucial for the Jaguars offense and quarterback Trevor Lawrence. So, this guy's playing great in recent games. Trevor Lawrence had a good game against the Colts, and then he had a great game against the Jets, and all of a sudden the Jaguars are 10-4. And on a 5-game winning streak, they were 5-4. And Jacoby Myers comes on the scene, and now the Jags on a 5-game winning streak. And he just inked a new contract. Man, it was like, just a few days ago, less than a week ago. So Jacoby Myers has signed a new 3-year contract extension with the Jacksonville Jaguars worth $60 million, including $40 million guaranteed. Now, like I said, I didn't know a lot about Jacoby Myers, but I looked him up. He played with the Patriots early in his NFL career, college ball at North Carolina State, but played with the Patriots early on, then went to the Raiders, and now is with the Jaguars. He is 29 years old. He is in the prime of his career. He's in his prime. He's the veteran wide receiver to go with, even though he's hurt, the Travis Hunters, the Brian Thomas Jr.'s, the Parker Washingtons. This guy is the veteran wide receiver, and that's why he got the big contract. He does not drop the football. I've seen him drop the football one time since he's been in Jacksonville. This guy can absolutely catch the football. So, high school football, you want to know about high school football also? Man, congratulations to the teams that won state championships, not only in North Florida, but, South and Western Georgia. High school football state championship scores for North Florida, Central Florida, South and Western Georgia are up on our website now at bigjreport.com. Congratulations to Rains, Jacksonville Rains High School, on winning their state championship game down in Miami over, I believe it was Miami Northwestern. Carver won their game 24-7. Carver from Columbus, Georgia, wins the state championship. And Worth County, Georgia, up in South Georgia, they won a state championship as well. And I got that on the screen, of course. And you can go to our website. You can check out not all of them, but most all of the playoff games, including those state championship games I just mentioned. Rains with a big win. Rains won they came from behind to beat Miami Northwestern 23-22. In Central Florida, Lake Mary won a state championship with a 28-27 come from behind victory over Vero Beach. So a lot of good high school football. But like I say, go to the website at bigjreport.com, scroll the homepage, and you'll find, high school football scores. And Rains, the title they won was the 3A state title. So congratulations to Jacksonville Rains. We congratulate Carver up in Georgia, Columbus, Georgia, winning the state championship. Carver ended up 15-0, I believe. And Worth County also wins, Worth County, Georgia. Worth County wins a state championship up in South Georgia as well. So that is pretty cool to kind of salute the obviously the high school football teams in our area. Again, the Jaguars, a big 48-20 win over the Jets last Sunday back on December the 14th of 2025. The Jacksonville Jaguars are now 10-4 on the 2025 NFL season, but they're going to go up against a team with even a better record. The Jaguars play in Denver at the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are now 12-2 on the season. We've updated concerts, JC, in the Neighbors 2 section. Barry Manilow, of all people, will be in Jacksonville, and he's 82 years young. He will be at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena in Jacksonville, Florida on Monday, January the 12th of 2026 at 7 o'clock p.m. My guess, this will be his final Jacksonville, Florida appearance for Barry Manilow. We never talk about Barry Manilow that often, but man, he did put together some great hits, especially way back when, 1970s, I think, predominantly. And there's other shows. I know that the group, Three Dog Night, was in Columbus, Georgia much earlier this month. And now they're going to be in Orange Park on December the 21st. Heck, that is tomorrow at the Thrasher Horn Center in Orange Park, Florida. For the rest of the concerts, go to bigjreport.com, click on the Neighbors 2 section, scroll the Neighbors 2 section at bigjreport.com, and you'll get some of the latest concerts that are up. Jacksonville Icemen lost to the Atlanta Gladiators up in North Georgia. I believe they play in Duluth. The Atlanta Gladiators 3, the Jacksonville Icemen 2. Again, the Atlanta Gladiators 3, the Jacksonville Icemen 2. That was on Friday night, December the 19th, up in Duluth, Georgia, as the Atlanta Gladiators beat the Icemen 3-2. The Jacksonville Icemen now fall to 13-13 now in the 2025-26 East Coast Hockey League season. So I had some notes here. I'm hoping I got everything in here. We talked about wide receiver Jacoby Myers, the NFL winning streaks. The Jags streak is at, the Jaguars winning streak is at 5 games, but Denver's streak is at 11 games, and that's who the Jaguars will play on Sunday. We talked some high school football, college football playoff, and playoffs. In the college football playoff, you got 3 games. You got 3 big games going today. Alabama's already won. They won Friday night. Let's pull up the college football playoff again. The 12 teams, Ole Miss battling Tulane later today. Alabama already beat Oklahoma, but, man, they came from behind to do it. The Alabama-Oklahoma games, and there's been 2 of them this year. Oklahoma won like over a month ago, 23-21. I remember Oklahoma getting a key interception in the first half of that game. And now Alabama got behind in this one, 17-0. But, Coach DeBoer and his team rallied. Give them credit. Alabama's going to the next round of the college football playoff. Alabama 34, Oklahoma 24. The games today include Ole Miss versus Tulane, James Madison. That's a late game up in Oregon. And you got Miami of Florida versus Texas A&M. So there'll be 3 teams that'll join Alabama for the second round, and teams with byes that will definitely already be in the second round include Indiana, the Big Ten champions, Georgia, the Southeastern Conference champions, Texas Tech, and Ohio State. Give me your comments. Who's going to go all the way in the college football playoff? Let me know. What's your opinion on the transfer portal? Lane Kiffin's at LSU. The Gators got Sumrall. Looks like Auburn's got a pretty good coach. The South Florida coach has gone to Auburn. Things are changing. It's like college football with the transfer portal, the NIL. It just seems like college football is really more in a microwave oven with things happening a lot quicker and faster. And I'm not really saying that's a good thing, actually. Special thanks to our sponsors on episode show number 80 of the Teal Shirt Report podcast. 80, a great number. I think that was my final year at Ed White, the Commanders. High school football scores. Check them out at bigjreport.com in the Neighbors 2 section. You guys have a great day. Special thanks to our executive producer, JC. I appreciate you bringing in the coffee, JC. Man, that's pretty good. bigjreport.com. Check us out. Follow us at bigjreport.com. And the name of our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, by the way. I think we've got over 2,000 subscribers thus far. Need some more. The name of our YouTube channel is the Teal Shirt Report Podcast from bigjreport.com. Again, want to thank our sponsors, the Mad Max Mix.weebly.com. Great internet radio show on Wednesday nights. JC live from the pub on Thursday nights, getting you ready for the new year of 2026. Check out those New Year's shows. The first show of the new year from the Mad Max Mix. Check out Mad Max at the madmaxmix.weebly.com on Wednesday nights. And check out JC the very next night on Thursday nights, live from the pub with JC at LakeUfallahits.com. Great internet radio where it's all good. Salsa Realty and Capital for your real estate needs, whether it's home, residential, business, or commercial real estate. Go to our homepage. Absolutely go to our homepage. Scroll the homepage near the North Florida weather, and the weather's been interesting. We got down to a low of 37 this morning on Saturday morning, December the 20th. High today around 69. The chance of rain, though, has gone away. Winds were picking up some yesterday, actually, but now the winds are dropping out of the east. Checking the weather report. Let me see here. The weather report, latest weather. The latest weather report we got. Let me pull it up. You can do it too. Go to bigjreport.com. Scroll the homepage. When you get to the weather information, let's see. Latest weather for North Florida, Jacksonville and surrounding areas. Let's take a look. Clearing, turning colder out there. It was at least colder. It was at least cold this morning, 37. The high today, though, is going to creep up to 69. And we did get down to 37 this morning. Looks like late tonight on Saturday night, the low temperatures will actually be in the 40s late tonight on Saturday night, December the 20th, and then Sunday morning, December the 21st. Low temperatures mainly in the 40s, but we did get down to 37 on Saturday morning. This is December 20th. So it was Saturday morning, December the 20th. We got down to 37. Late tonight and tomorrow morning on December the 21st, look for low temperatures in the 40s. Really some pretty good weather as I look out the window. Clear now and sunny skies here in Jacksonville and throughout most of North Florida. Special thanks to our executive producer, JC, also Alex Nunnery, who's been on vacation, and John Gaylor. Thank you for all the comments. And John Gaylor is really a good contributor and correspondent to our website, bigjreport.com, our Big J Report Facebook group, and, of course, the Teal Shirt Report podcast. We tried to cover most of it. I will tell you this. We will be back later today or tomorrow. We'll talk about the Jaguars game. The Jaguars are playing Denver. At Denver, the Denver Broncos on an 11-game winning streak, coached by a guy that's made their team ever so gradually better and better over the last 4 years, and Coach Sean Payton. Liam Cohen with the Jaguars. He's got the Jaguars, the rookie head coach Liam Cohen's got the Jaguars 10-4. He's definitely a candidate for Coach of the Year, along with, Ben Johnson from the Chicago Bears. And thank you guys for tuning in. This has been the Teal Shirt Report podcast. Leave your comments. We've discussed a lot. We've analyzed a lot of stuff today. So again, check us out on audio here on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments with us, by the way. Leave your comments with us. I mean, there's been, when you talk about college football, this is something I wanted to mention before we went away here. When you talk about college football, the changing, there's some dynamics that are changing. You got new coaches coming in. The schedules are getting tougher. The SEC teams, I wanted to throw this out there before I left today. The SEC schedules are getting tougher. It's not 8 conference games anymore. It is 9 conference games. I'll take a look at the Florida schedule. Vanderbilt comes back on the Florida schedule, and Vanderbilt, they're coming off a couple of great years, and Florida didn't have to play Vanderbilt this year, but they come back on the schedule next year for the Florida Gators. Vanderbilt will be in a big bowl game. They, however, did not make the playoff. Alabama did, and I guess you'd have to say Alabama was deserving. They knocked off Oklahoma. Alabama 34, Oklahoma 24. And now the other teams from the SEC, like Georgia, they're waiting in the weeds for the team that they're going to play next, which I believe, let's see, the Georgia Bulldogs. Alabama's going to play Indiana, and the Georgia Bulldogs are waiting for one of these teams to match up with them. Got Ole Miss in Tulane. I believe if Ole Miss beats Tulane, I believe Ole Miss moves into the second round to play Georgia. That's how I understand it. If you guys have heard something else, let me know in the comments. Special thanks to our executive producer, JC. Thanks for everything, JC. I want to thank Alex Nunnery, who's been on vacation. Wow, got choked up there. I think the coffee went down the wrong way there for a minute. But we want to thank, our executive producer, JC, also Alex Nunnery, and our correspondent and contributor, John Gaylor. Thanks for everything, guys. Really do appreciate each and every one of you for helping. Want to say hello to a guy named Ed Brown, who I talked to the other day. We talked about Steely Dan for a long time. He knows all about Steely Dan. So we're going to throw shout-outs out there to Ed Brown, a friend of mine for years, Big Bill. And Big Bill played in our fantasy football league, but Big Bill did not make the playoffs. It looks like New York Joe is in the championship game. And we'll see how it all comes out. Team Bowen's in there as well in the championship game of the Teal Shirt Report Fantasy Football League. That's going to do it. Again, we've been eloquently produced by our executive producer, JC, also by Alex Nunnery and John Gaylor. Thank you so much. Our contributor and correspondent to the Teal Shirt Report podcast. You guys have a great day. Thank you for putting up with me on episode show number 80 of the Teal Shirt Report podcast. I really appreciate you guys checking us out right here on the Teal Shirt Report podcast, episode show number 80. That's going to do it. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is the Teal Shirt Report podcast, episode show number 80. Happy holidays to you guys. We got some Christmas decorations in the background here on our YouTube channel, the Teal Shirt Report podcast from BigJReport.com. You guys have a great day. I'm your host, Scott. And hey, I am out. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening.